everybody? This is Dell. Welcome to another episode of Watch These Movies. This is the series where I go into my collection. I pick out five movies that I don't think get enough love, and I recommend them to you. And I generally start with the most accessible of these movies to the least accessible, the one that's the most out there. So we're going to continue that pattern here today. And I'm going to start with the movie that is definitely, absolutely fun for the whole family. It's a little bit bigger name than I'm used to recommending in these spots because the comic strip it came from was beloved, and then they went on to have make all these amazing TV specials over the years. And after a while, there wasn't a lot of activity around this franchise, this IP, and somebody decided they decided to make a movie out of it right after the creator, or right around the time when the creator was really sick and passing away. I can't remember the exact timeline on it, but we're talking about the Peanuts movie. Yeah, it's a different kind of kids movie than what we're getting over the last, I would say, 15 years. This came out, I want to say like 2017 or so. Uh, yeah, 2018, 2015, I think. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna look it up. I'll put it on the screen. But anyway, it's different in the fact that this doesn't rely on uh, big bombastic scenes, right? It doesn't rely on slapstick comedy. It doesn't rely on bright flashes of color coming at you all the ways. It doesn't rely on toilet humor. Um, it doesn't do a lot of the things that kids movies do now. It's pretty true to its roots. The Peanuts movies is a compared to those other movies, a lot of the other kids movies that we're getting is a quieter movie, and I think that's one of the reasons a lot of kids didn't really cling to this movie. Didn't really gravitate towards this movie. They watched it, maybe they liked it, maybe they didn't, but I didn't see kids going, "Oh, we got to watch the Peanuts movie." I watched it and I loved it. It took me back to my childhood, and it's like I said, it's a slower movie. It's not like super duper slow, but it's just compared to other other kids movies that are out there. So relatively speaking, slow. Um, but yeah, I really enjoy this movie, and I think more people need to watch it. Um, if you're an adult who used to watch Charlie Brown and the Peanuts and or read the comic strips, I think if you see this, you'll have a greater appreciation for it than kids might. But kids can definitely watch it and enjoy it. Um, I just have to be in the right mindset to watch it. And yes, kids can get into the right mindset to watch a movie. But yeah, the Peanuts is one of my recommendations for this episode. We're gonna stick with the family theme for the next movie, and this is gonna be controversial. The latest installment in this franchise has just hit theaters. So by the time you're watching this, that movie's probably playing in theaters if you're watching this video around time it's been released. And this movie, when it came out, was technically not a part of that, but thanks to the new movie, it's been pulled in, it's been adopted and become canon. And I'm talking about 2010's The Karate Kid. Um, I think it's time to revisit this movie for the mainly because nostalgia is so high for the original Karate Kid of the 80s that I think this movie was just offhandedly dismissed as soon as it hit theaters. It's like, oh, that's not the Karate Kid. That's Will Smith's son. And anyway, made all these different comparisons and just hated on the movie. The movie is actually solid, okay? The movie is actually solid. Is it the greatest movie ever of all time? No, but it's solid. It does justice to the Karate Kid story. Um, it probably should have been called the Kung Fu Kid because he's in China, not Japan, so he's not doing karate in the movie. But you stick with the franchise title, right? Jackie Chan is just amazing in this movie. He's got the Mr. Miyagi role. I think his name is Han in the movie, and he's one of his best acting performances. And take of course aside from all the physical acting that he does in all those other movies, but yeah, he's fantastic in it. And Jaden Smith is actually pretty solid in the movie. He shouldn't have been up for any awards, and he wasn't. That's fine, but he was solid in his role. And I'm gonna hit you with a hard truth right here, guys. Ralph Macchio, back when he played Karate Kid in 1984, could not act, and his karate was iffy, and the crane kick was crap. That said, I do like that movie. I'm not, saying that The Karate Kid is a bad movie, but those are just facts. Jaden has more athletic prowess in this movie. Shows more in this movie. His fighting actually looks better, and all the kids in this movie are fighting. I mean, they're fighting. Um, This is before the Cobra Kai series. So, and these are younger kids than Cobra Kai, and they're going at it left and right. So, all in all, pretty solid movie. Taraji P. Henson's also in here, also pretty good. Um, but yeah, I would if you can bring yourself to revisit this movie without uh, the nostalgia goggles from the original Karate Kid and the hatred that comes from that, and just give it a fair shake, I think you will enjoy the movie. Uh, does it have to replace the OG Karate Kid? No, but it's pretty solid on its own. Next, we're going to steer far away from the family stuff for these last three recommendations. And we're going to start with this one. We're going to start in a kind of a romantic comedy, but not really comedy, romantic dark comedy, maybe. We're going to come up with this movie, Take This Waltz. It stars Michelle Williams and Seth Rogens and Sarah Silverman down here by my finger. And our two main characters up here, they're married. They've been married for a while. Marriage is getting to be a bit mundane. They love each other. It's not like a terrible marriage or anything. It's just what it is. And we get a sexy new neighbor, a sexy guy made neighbor from across the street. I think it's across the street. It's been a while since I watched it. And he and Michelle Williams' character are attracted to one another and kind of start hanging out. But she's not really trying to cheat on her husband. It's a lot of that. Okay, it's a lot of that. It's really solid movie. I really did enjoy this movie. Michelle Williams is amazing. She's fantastic in just about everything I've seen her in, and she's really good here. Seth Rogen, far more subdued than what you would normally see. This is not Seth Rogen from Pineapple Express or This Is the End or any of the other movies where he's a stoner or just acting crazy. This is not that Seth Rogen. He's a lot more subdued here. He's just a regular guy who's married to his girl and loves her very much and goes to work and comes home every day. That's pretty much what we have here. And I would say, yeah, definitely give this a watch if you're into if you're into romance at all. I think this is one that you ought to see. I know it just hasn't been seen by as many people as I think it should have been. And like I said, Michelle Williams' performance in here is really, really good. Next is a gangster movie, and uh, we're going to take it back a few years before Daniel Craig took over as 007. So this is before his Bond movies, and this is Layer Cake. Layer Cake finds our 007 here as a drug dealer, actually, but he's trying to get out the game. You know how that story goes, right? One last heist, one last score, one last deal, whatever, one last something before I get out the game. You've seen that movie, and that's what this is. And in this case, the one last thing is someone has asked him to help pull off this deal for a bunch of ecstasy. And things go wrong and people are now trying to kill him. That's where we are with Layer Cake. So the framework of the story is nothing groundbreaking, but it's handled really well here. So if you're into that kind of movie, you're into gangster movies, you're into crime dramas, Layer Cake is one to give a go. And if you're a fan of Daniel Craig, give it a go. Or you just want to see what he was like before he became James Bond, definitely check out Layer Cake. And yes, in case you didn't know, I mean, I think we all know that he's British by now. But here he's really British and it's a British movie. So, you might need those subtitles if you're American like me and or you just have trouble with British accents. Uh, I don't think I watched it with subtitles, but I would recommend it if that bothers you at all. Layer Cake. And the last movie is now the one that is most out there, but it is a popular movie. It's a cult classic movie. It's a movie that I fell in love with as a teenager, even though I probably should not have been watching this movie as a teenager. It's the story of my life. Came out in the early 80s, 82, 83, somewhere in there. Um, it's actually a remake of a movie I've never seen. I need to see the original movie. Uh, but I know that this one amps the sex way up, just takes the sex to new heights. And that movie is Cat People. A lot of people went and bought this a couple years ago when it was first put on 4K. So I know that it's been seen a little more now than it was a few years ago. But I still think people need to see it just to see how bonkers it is. Okay. Um, the story we got Natasha Kinski sorry, as our main character. We got Annie McDowell is her brother in the movie. Malcolm McDowell, not Annie McDowell. Malcolm McDowell is her brother. John Hurt is in the movie. Ned O'Toole is in the movie. So a great cast. And uh, Malcolm McDowell in particular is just hamming it up. He's chewing scenery just constantly. And the way the story goes is that the brother and sister, Kinski and McDowell, they find out or they realize that they are part of their bloodline. How can I explain this? Their bloodline is such that everyone in their bloodline transforms into an actual giant cat. Black Panther, or it's not it's actually a Black Panther. It's a leopard or something they painted black, but whatever the case is. But it looks like a Black Panther. They turn into a giant cat anytime that they are sexually aroused. And then, of course, they just kill people. Oh, that's what cats do. So, yeah. So that's what in this movie. That's what goes on in this movie. And of course, she meets a guy outside of the family. She meets a guy and that she really, really likes and wants to be with. Kind of complicated when you're gonna turn into a big Black Panther and maul him to death if you guys start trying to get it in, right? And then there's creepy things that happen with Malcolm McDowell. We get to see uh, some great murders when he turns into the cat. And it's a crazy movie. It's just nuts. And you kind of got to be seen to believed. Um, so yeah, if that is right up your alley, check it out. Have fun with that. Those are all my recommendations. Take something here, watch it. If you've seen any of those, let me know what you think of them. If you're watching based on my recommendations, let me know what you think of them. Um, any recommendations from me are welcome. That's all I have for you guys on this one. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me again. I will catch you on the next one, guys. Bye.